Okay, I'm working in my office and I'm introducing my rabbit to my fairly newly adopted dog. I've had the rabbit a couple of years, and I had him in a cage outside with another rabbit, and unfortunately a bobcat was able to kill the other rabbit through the cage. And I know that because I walked out to check him before bed. I usually cover him up, and there was a bobcat right there. And I never thought about bobcats. I had a coyote proof, never thought about bobcats. Anyway, moved baby inside, and she's very domesticated. And so I let her run around when I'm working in the office. And now Buddy and her are just starting to get introduced. Hi, baby. Her name's Baby. When we got her, she was the tiniest thing ever. I mean, so tiny. She looked like a mouse. I mean, we couldn't put her in a cage because she could fit through the bars. I mean, she was just a pocket bunny. Anyway, she's so sweet. And so is Buddy. He's fascinated. So I'm in a perpetual state of trying to get rid of stuff. And I am not a hoarder, but over the years, you know, I have accumulated faster than I've gotten rid of. And this house we're in, I'll show it later. This is just my upstairs office. We built this house, my husband and I. We bought the lot. It had a tiny little tear down on it. We tore it down. We designed this house with an architect, and we built it. We're both retired, and we've worked hard our whole lives. We were both single parents. We raised our kids alone. He has a daughter. Had custody of her. She's now in her mid-40s. I had a son. I had custody of him. He's now in his early 40s. And between them, we have 4 grandchildren. So we've been together about just shy of 20 years. The grandkids range from 18 and a half down to, I think she's 10. Our youngest is 10. And it's 10, 13, 16, 18. And I'm 67. My husband is 71. I've been retired since the age of 50. I had been a single working mom, and when I hooked up with my husband, my now husband, it was decided that I was going to be the support, and he was going to be the worker, as he put it. He was in charge of security. I was in charge of quality of life. So I've been real busy we were designed and built this house, and we've traveled a lot. I've traveled with him for work. Look at Buddy. He's being very good. He likes to think look, he looks like a giant Pomeranian because he is the fluffiest Pomeranian in the world. Underneath all of that is only 12.5 pounds. I swear to God, he's probably 10 pounds, and 2.5 of it are his fur. But we love our Buddy. Buddy belonged to my niece, and he was her constant companion until she had a real baby. And then he got a little bit kicked to the curb and didn't take to it too well. He broke out in hives and had scabs and started having all kinds of allergies and medical problems and growling at the baby. So anyway, with lockdown and our travel with the kibush, we adopted him, and we just took him on our very first airplane trip with him. So we took him up we flew into Montana, and we flew out of Boise. So in between, we covered a lot of miles. He's watching the rabbit. Let's see what the rabbit's doing. Anyway, so I decided to get into a coaching program to get me motivated to get out of my COVID slump. 3-month deal, and I'm in the process of, since we've pretty much finished the house, but as you can see, we've been at this over 6 years, and I'm still clearing out shit, and I'm still asking myself, why do I not just get rid of all of this stuff? Because, hello, nobody else is going to want it. Nobody else has room for it, and I just, there's like things I've done over the years and had interest in, and I just kept it. I'm an avid reader, and I just love books, but whoa, every time I look at a book, I want to read it, and I want to know everything inside of it. I want to get into the author's head. I want to see life from their perspective, but I don't have time to do that. Hello. Who has time to do that? I'm too, I just, you know what I am? I'm like one of those kids that goes off to college and just keeps taking classes. Then they get their master's degree, and then they get their PhD, and then they still can't figure out what to do with themselves. All they really want to do is read and study and be intellectual. So then they end up just working at the university. Now, I'm an independent learner. I did not go to college, but I did work at UCLA for 20 years, where I had all the opportunity to learn that I wanted, and not only to learn, but to apply what I was learning. I moved in the 20 years. I had many positions, moved around, worked on all areas of the campus, and ended up working, running the emeritus office for UCLA's retired chancellor. And I did that for 5 years, which was an incredible experience. I learned so much. And then during that time, I met my husband. And then at the age of 50, I took an early retirement from UCLA. And that was 17 years ago. So, look at it. She's so cute. Now, I want to do a podcast. I want to do a video, but, I really don't want my face on it because it gets boring for me, and I'm sure for anyone else. Animals are much more amusing, if you ask me. Bunnies are the funniest little creatures. Look at this. Look at her. Look at Buddy. I think Buddy and Baby. I'm videoing this because I think it's the start of a wonderful romance. And it's going to be the start of my YouTube channel. And what I want with my YouTube channel is, believe it or not, from anybody that happens to run across this and watch it, is I would like feedback. Not McNasty feedback. Because, I don't know, that doesn't do anybody any good. But constructive feedback, because I'm very open to ideas. Now that my grandkids are raised, and I happen to have bought Tesla many years ago, like almost at the beginning. And, my husband says to me, he says, Johnny, you have to sell your Tesla this year. I mean, we've taken big hits because of the COVID thing, and, we have to offset all this capital gains, and we can do it this year. And I'm like, well, all right, but I really don't want to sell it. So I've come up with a system where I'm giving half of it away, and I'm putting it into a charitable trust. Thinking about starting a foundation, because what I did at UCLA was, I was a fundraiser for 15 years. I did events, and so I have a lot of background in that. Been working for the chancellor. I've sat in on many of strategic meetings and planning meetings, and so now I want to do something with that, and I'm really not sure what I want to do with it. Yes, there's my animal, you know, but I'm looking around and it's like there's so many things out there. There's so many animal rescues out there, and that's all good. But I think, well, why should I start another one? Why don't I just support the ones that are out there? So, yes, I'm thinking about doing that. So for now, I'm putting money into a charitable trust, and I'm going to be looking at the best things to do with it. I was thinking about starting a little foundation, then I started doing a deep dive on that, and it's like, hello, there's so many foundations out there. And when I started really learning about all these private foundations, and there's one in our neighborhood, the Hilton Foundation is our neighborhood, so I did research on that. And they have $6.5 billion in the foundation that they're looking for worthy causes for. And I'm thinking, with my background in fundraising and all that, maybe my time would be better spent collaborating with existing programs that are very established. And they have one I'm really interested in, which is a supports foster kids that are aging out of the system. And education is really my thing. So I'm kind of bouncing around ideas I would like to do. I'm thinking about a mentorship program that would be online, something that could start fairly small. We do support the Boys and Girls Club and have for many years, and we actually made a fairly sizable contribution, I guess, but we sponsored a mentorship center. Then along comes COVID, and you know, the boys and girls are just in huge trouble. Nothing's happening with that, and everything's going online. So I'm thinking, I'd really like to put together some kind of a mentorship educational program, and there's a lot of them out there for entrepreneurs, and I'm in one. And I love it, and I'm associated with this coach I've followed for like 30 years, Dan Sullivan, and I'm now in a program with one of his clients, who's now a collaborator with him, Benjamin Hardy, and I highly suggest checking out both of them if you're interested in entrepreneurship. And I just feel like entrepreneurship, look at baby, she loves her little cage. And then watch Buddy will go over and like try to get her to come out and play. That's the second time I've had him out today. So cute. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Where am I? I'm looking at the clock. It's 13 minutes and 30 seconds. And I want to wrap this up at 15 minutes. But, because you can just ramble forever on these things. But anyway, this is my... I've had to move them in because of the bobcat. And last night I had my little dog, I had Buddy out, and neighbor comes by and says, be careful, there's a bobcat out here. And this bobcat got my bunny like 2 weeks ago. So I guess it's having a literal fill day in our neighborhood. And so anyway, the bunny's inside, as cool as that is to have it in your office. TV I never watched. This was a guest room. That's why I have nightstands and a temporary desk. And that's a painting of the lake we live on. And this is just my overwhelming amount of knowledge that my brain could never absorb. Look at that. That's all technology. Hello. This is books on health and aging, which is another area I'm interested in. I'm thinking about getting involved in UCLA's Longevity Center, because I think so much of the resources of this country have gone into like old people, whose health has gone bad. So, my husband and I have stayed pretty active, knock on wood. We've stayed healthy, and but we put considered effort into it. You know, we stay active, we work out, we eat healthy, we don't overdo it in the, you know, recreational imbibing of any sorts. So, yeah, I think if we could get our old people to be healthier and stay active, I mean, they have a lot to offer in terms of, I mean, kids today, they know everything. They literally know everything. They have all the knowledge of mankind in their pocket. And, but what do you do with it? What do you do with it? Look at this. What do I do with all this stuff? Where do I focus? I mean, my focus has been easy for like the last 6 years because it was like, build this house, make this house a home. We're coming into the holidays. I guess I'm going to be 20 minutes. Going into the holidays like everyone else, and that is a great time of year and family's priorities. So, you know, that's going to be, he's just like so sweet. I love my animals. They keep the office from being too lonely and boring, and they're perfect office mates because they really don't interrupt me. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of all the things I'm looking at, and I'm very solution oriented. You can just focus on a problem so long, you just end up feeding it. You know, you put all your energy into this problem, and I had this dream that I had started this foundation, and we were all like working all the time on some, I don't even know what project it was. And we're busy. And then, as you do in dreams, I step back and I observe, and I'm thinking, what am I doing here? I've just made all this work for myself, and we're not even moving the needle. You know, we're not making a dent. And I woke up and I thought, oh my God, do I want to create a foundation, look at me. I obviously don't really like sitting at my desk doing administrative work, though I am an administrator, and it's probably my strength. I've got over 10,000 hours in that, but I want to move the needle. So I think, you know, people, it's when you're fully committed to life, I mean, it's not like a character flaw that we can't change. We don't have time to change, and we're committed. We can't do everything. So I really think focusing on the middle school years. I mean, I've just went through that obviously with my son, and then I've gone through it with his 3 children. My niece, my nephew, I was very involved in their lives because their mother passed away. But those are the years that kids are wanting to figure out who they are. They're not committed to anything. They've been kids, so, you know, they've been, you know, doing everything they were supposed to do, more or less. But, you know, kids. And then all of a sudden you get to junior high, and you're sort of like, you start to see there's another world out there that maybe your mom and dad don't know everything about. So I just think it's a really great program, and particularly with kids, the foster kids who don't have any parents. I mean, I don't want to go get involved in telling parents how to raise their children because it's none of my business. But, you know, I want to find a need that where, you know, I can move the needle and not spend too much time just fighting a problem. Problems. I mean, yes, there's always, every day there's a new problem. You fix a problem and it moves the needle, and then, you know, it shoves something else off of balance, and you got to deal with it. So anyway, I'm coming up on 20 minutes, and this is my menagerie. I also have 3 cats and a horse, and about to get a second horse into the family. We live out in a semi-rural area, and Thousand Oaks area of California. And I moved out here in 68, and in 68, this was just a little cow town. It's developed into something now. I mean, you can Google Earth it if you want, and it's a great community, but it's a lot more urban than it used to be, and there's little pockets of open space, and I've had horses forever. I've had the horse I have for almost 18 years. He's like 28 years old now, or 29, and still in good health. He lives with a friend of mine, and he has a job. He teaches little kids to ride, and he's very happy doing that. And I still take him out on the trail, not during the summer. It's a little too hot and strenuous, but it's starting to cool off. And yeah, so I'll introduce you to Cloud, and see how all this goes. Anyway, have a great day.